Hi Sujit ji, how are you?
Hi,
How are you?
are you getting my voice?
Now I am. Previously I wasn't.
I was speaking. I just if you are unable to get.
Yeah, it's still breaking.
Sorry, I couldn't get you.
Yeah, sorry. I was asking how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. Joining after a lot of days?
Yeah, after 2 3 days,
Hmm.
I thought of joining yesterday, but I couldn't. And due to the meeting, so yesterday it was yoga day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I joined the afternoon session.
Okay. That's good, that's good. Chalo, we'll wait for 2 minutes, 2 minutes or so. Then we'll
Yeah.
start. Okay.
So,
Hmm.
can I ask something? I had some doubts in my mind.
Yeah, sure.
Just related to this philosophy.
Mhm.
Actually, I never worked in business before.
Can you go again? You never?
I, is it not clear to you? So I'll use my headphones.
This is much better. Now it's better.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was saying, I never thought this much about the philosophy and these things,
Hmm.
like moksha and all these words. So
Hmm.
after attending these sessions, especially in this kind of meditation or pranayama, so I came across many things that are useful to me.
Mhm.
So, now I'm in doubt. In starting, I was getting so much interest, but ये जो जैसे मोक्ष का पाथ जो बोला जाता है लिबरेशन चाहिए on that path if we go also वो कहते नहीं कि परमात्मा में विलीन हो जाना है लास्ट में
Hmm.
तो वो भी पाने के लिए मतलब वी हैव टू वर्क वेरी हार्ड मतलब
Hmm. Hmm.
एक्चुअली तो कुछ नहीं करना है समाधि में जाना है देन वो होना है जितना मैं अभी तक सोचता हूँ बट आफ्टर ऑल्सो व्हाट इज द यूज मतलब कि ये जन्म मृत्यु का जो होता है ना कैन आई स्पीक इन हिंदी
Yeah, sure, why not?
तो वो बोलते हैं ना कि इस कष्ट से मुक्ति मिल जाएगी मोक्ष मिल जाएगा
Hmm.
लेकिन उसके बाद भी क्या होना क्या है क्योंकि हमें तो अभी भी मेरा जो ये जो जन्म चल रहा है इसमें भी मुझे तो कुछ पता नहीं कि हाँ पहले में क्या हुआ मेरे साथ
Hmm.
आगे क्या होने वाला है अगले जन्म में कुछ याद तो
Hmm.
रहता नहीं है तो टेक्निकली देखा जाए तो कुछ शब्द तो पढ़ नहीं रहा है
Hmm.
तो फिर तो उसके लिए मैं इतना इतनी तपस्या करके मैं करूँ और उसके बाद भी क्या होगा मुझे तो कुछ याद ही नहीं रहेगा मुझे कुछ पता ही नहीं है अगला जन्म होगा भी नहीं होगा या मोक्ष मिलेगा उसके बाद मोक्ष मिल भी गया विलीन भी हो गया तो भी ये क्या फर्क पड़ता है तो क्यों हो रहा है
Hmm.
तो ये सब चीजें मेरी आगे चलती रहती है तो आई एम कंप्लीटली कंफ्यूज कि मतलब क्या है ये सब टोटली कॉम्प्लेक्स
So, see, the fact that you are here means कि कुछ suffering तो है. There was something that is troubling you. See, what happens is we do not get like we do not go on a path just like that. कुछ coincidence नहीं होता life में. Everything has a reason behind it. तो यहाँ आए हो like on the path of yoga you have come. So there is some reason behind it. Yeah. So ऐसे अगर इन thoughts को सोचोगे कि like क्या होगा या क्या point है? What is the point of all of this? Then see That's the whole thing, that you are questioning the point of it all despite experiencing that suffering. है ना, suffering है तभी कुछ gain करना चाह रहे हो, you're trying to understand something, तो उसको तो हटाना ही है. तो one immediate benefit that you get is your suffering is being eradicated. Your attitude towards life and how you deal with it is automatically being changed when you are like in yoga. मोक्ष और इन सब चीजों का बाद में सोच लेना. Don't think of these things now. They are very high stages. The more you think of that, the more you will be like मतलब that will become an obstruction for you right now. Like जितना मेरे को अंडरस्टैंडिंग आई आपसे बात करके और जैसे आप बात कर रहे हो इन चीजों की, तो the part that you're not able to understand, put it aside. क्या होगा कैसे होगा पिछला भूल जाते हैं, पता नहीं, शायद when you're sitting in meditation पिछला कुछ याद आ जाए. है ना. We cannot say, I cannot categorize my entire experience as कि मुझे past का नहीं पता और future का नहीं पता, तो क्या point है. The point is that you have to relish your present, because this is it, this is all you have. When you go into meditation, your realization for this thing increases. अभी कहने को बहुत easy sound करता है, like you would have heard a lot of people say past है, future, सब कुछ, they're not there, you only have the present. When you go on the path of yoga, you start experiencing those things, and I think that is worth sticking for. मोक्ष वगैरह ये सब दूर की बातें हैं. They are very high stages. Don't be concerned about them. Is your life being enhanced when you are practicing yoga? If yes, then go ahead, do that. कुछ अच्छा करते हैं और अच्छा लगता है, लाइफ बेटर होती है, तो उस चीज से स्टिक करते हैं ना हम अपनी लाइफ में. तो बस ये हो रहा है, सिर्फ इतना ले लो अभी के लिए फॉलो करने के लिए. My life is getting better, I'm going to do it.
ये वो तो है, बट मैं जब ऐसे ही मेरे दिमाग में चीजें आ गई कि मतलब किसी बात पे अगर हमें आगे बढ़ना है तो हम अपना 100% तभी दे पाएंगे, मतलब कि मुझे गोल समझ में आ जाए. तो उस थॉट प्रोसेस में थोड़ा चीजें दिमाग में चल रही, जैसे ताकत होती है. ठीक है, थैंक्स. मे
फेथ
बी
पुट
आगे
करो,
चल के
थोड़ा सा, थोड़ा फेथ पुट करो. See, something is, put some faith in it. Try. See, right now you have tried not putting faith in it, you're questioning it. I'm asking you to change your angle and put faith in it, and then see what result it is giving you. है ना.
faith only I had those questions.
Sorry, फिर से.
To believe it only, I was having those questions to myself. That was the thing.
Okay.
कि कहीं ना कहीं उतना बिलीव नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ. मे बी एज पर माई प्रेजेंट अंडरस्टैंडिंग आई हैव दिस क्वेश्चन, जैसे आपने बोला आगे जाके हो सकता है थोड़ा, मे बी अननोन थिंकिंग दैट.
उसके लिए आपको कॉन्स्टेंटली स्टिक करना पड़ेगा प्रैक्टिस को. ठीक है, जस्ट कंसिडर इट टू बी अ हैबिट, समथिंग लाइक ब्रशिंग योर टीथ, समथिंग यू डू एवरी डे. ओके, इतना कर सकते हैं हम लोग. लाइक उसके लिए मुझे फेथ भी नहीं चाहिए. फॉर दैट इवन पुट असाइड फेथ. It's something as simple as brushing your teeth every morning. And what does brushing your teeth every morning for 2 minutes do? Nothing. But for 10 years, when you do that same thing, what will it do? It will save your teeth from decaying. Those 2 minutes every day will do nothing. Yeah. पर अगर हम उसी को क्वेश्चन करने लगे, अरे मैं 2 मिनट क्यों लगा रहा हूँ ब्रश करने में, कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा, मुझे कोई रिजल्ट दिख रहा है 2 मिनट ब्रश करने से? नो. In that day, if I question that brushing my teeth, that activity, I will see no result. But over a period of time, I will see कि वो brush करने ने मेरी cavity होने से बचाया मुझे. This is how yogic practices are. You won't see instant results. In fact, anything and everything in life worth pursuing will not give you instant results. You'll have to stick with it. You have to be continuous. And once you see what it is doing over a period of time, that is when you will understand why. You'll get an answer to your why. तो ये सब छोड़ दो questioning वगैरह. Every day, those few hours that you are dedicating, dedicate those. Keep dedicating those. और 1 साल बाद बात करेंगे फिर.
नहीं, इसमें भी मतलब मेरे पर्सपेक्टिव से तो टू काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स है। अभी लाइक आसन वगैरह करना है, वो एक अलग चीज होती है, फिजिकल प्रैक्टिस है। So in that I can concentrate much and trying, and I can see the improvement aspect. But the things I'm talking about is जो ध्यान वाली चीजें हैं, फिलोसफी और मेडिटेशन, यहाँ पे मैं थोड़ा सा जंगल लिखूँ, दैट इज नॉट। तो ठीक है, जैसा आपने सजेस्ट किया है, मे बी जस्ट
See, moksha and all are final goals, like the different terms that are given to it. But if you're not able to relate with that, तो छोड़ दो अभी के लिए, कोई बात नहीं। मेडिटेशन करो, अपने आप आपको आंसर्स मिलते जाएंगे, और कोई वे नहीं है फॉर यू। योर परफेक्ट आंसर विल कम ओनली फ्रॉम विद इन। तो फिलोसफी क्लास में चर्चा होती है, intellectual discussion hota hai on things, but meditation is where you will see that you're getting your own answers to all of these things. मेरे लिए क्या fit कर रहा है, what is appropriate for me at that point of time, that is something you discover with your practice of meditation, pranayam, all of these things. इतना तंग परेशान मत हो। आपको गोल भी क्लियर है, गोल ऐसा नहीं है कि क्लियर नहीं है, इट्स जस्ट कि उसको अभी जैसे ही वो गोल प्रैक्टिस में आने लगेगा, अभी क्या है, नॉलेज बढ़ गई और एक्सपीरियंस नीचे है, यू हैव टू बैलेंस दीज आउट, बस इतना डिफरेंस आया है। फिलोसफी में क्या है, वी डिस्कस अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स, सो ऐसे हो जाता है। मेडिटेशन में थोड़ा ऐसे हो जाता है, ठीक है, इसको ऐसे कर लेना बस। cool, practice practice practice, and then if you still, if these doubts are persisting and getting very heavy on you, then discuss it again, ठीक है। चलिए तो स्टार्ट करें, we'll start today's class. Any other doubt? I'll first just say this. Any other doubt? So we'll pick that up. No? Okay, great. So back and neck straight. Just close your eyes. And focus on your breath. Bringing your mind to the present. And now begin to deepen your breath. Inhale deeply and hold for 2 seconds. After which you can exhale deeply. Following this same breath pattern for a few breaths. Inhale, hold, and exhale. So, Relax. Join both your palms together in front of your chest and rub them together. Place them over your eyes. Slowly, while blinking and looking at your palms, open up your eyes. And namaste to everyone. Okay. So we'll start the class. So today, what you're going to do is, I'm going to tell my name. Then I'm going to say an adjective which is with the same letter of my name. Okay. Then I'll give a dance move. And then I'll name a song with the same letter, which I really like. Okay. So for example, Soumya, spontaneous. My dance move will be, and my song will be Staying Alive. Okay. So who's going next?
I'll go.
Yeah.
Omkar, outstanding. And then Omkar.
Okay. Nice. Who's going next?
सोने जी एक बार बता दीजिए।
हाँ मैं बताती हूँ. So name, like my name is Soumya. Then one adjective. Okay. So like I said, spontaneous. Then I gave a dance move. Okay. And then I gave the name of a song. So Staying Alive is the name of a song, which starts with again S. So S से ही सारे करने हैं, मतलब except the dance move. आपका जो initial letter है basically, like for you also it is S.
Yes.
Okay. So Jagruti ji, you go next.
Jagruti, Jabardast, dance move, then movie. जीना इसी का नाम है.
Awesome. Who is going next? Sujit ji or Jayashree ji?
Jayashree, movement, then we shall overcome.
Sorry,
And
Jayashree.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, after the name, what is the adjective that you used?
Movement.
Okay.
And then dance form is contemporary, and the song is we shall overcome. हम होंगे कामयाब.
Acha, okay. So do you want to turn on your camera and show us the dance move?
I don't have any idea of contemporary dance.
Acha, okay,
But
chalo, theek hai.
learning, that's what I know, that some few moves of dance.
Okay, awesome. Okay, Sujit ji.
जी ऐसे ही सभी चीजें बतानी है, लाइक मेरा नाम नेक्स्ट है तो सॉन्ग भी मुझे उसको बताना है. Only song and my name should be next, right?
Song, name, adjective will be same letter, and then you can show us a dance move, or as Jayashree ji did, she named the dance like form. I cannot hear you.
एस से मुझे कोई एडजेक्टिव याद नहीं आ रहा है.
Okay. Song. सोचो बहुत सारे हैं ऐसे तो.
पहले तो एडजेक्टिव बोलना है ना.
हाँ. चलो ऐसा करो, we'll do yours at the end of the class then. Okay, तब तक सोच लो आराम से. हाँ. ठीक है, चलो आज की क्लास स्टार्ट करते हैं. So I'll just share my screen. Okay, so we had completed Yam and Niyam yesterday. Okay, now we will start with Asana. So first thing before starting the asanas, so the first 5 limbs of the Yoga Sutras are called Bahirang Yoga, or external. Okay, the first 5, and the last 3 are called Antarang or internal. So I'll tell you why, what is this and everything. I think we have discussed this once, but yeah, I'll repeat that. Okay, so let's move to our third limb, which is asana. Okay, so asana means posture. Okay, so as per Patanjali ji, like asana is like the Ashtanga Vinyas or the Hatha poses that you do. For him, asana is simply a pose in which you can sit. Okay, so it is derived from the dhatu, Sanskrit root word is us. Which means a method of sitting. Okay, so yeah, so according to him, the asana should be comfortable, okay, and it should be stable. So he said sthir sukham asana, so stable and comfortable. This is the quality of the asana which you need to adopt, okay, according to him. So you can translate this to your all the asana practices that you do also, like, so if that asana, when you're practicing that asana, if you're able to achieve stability and you become comfortable in it, then you can say that, okay, my asana is now established. Okay, before that, you are still working on your asana posture. But according to him, it's a way of sitting. According to Patanjali ji, it's a way of sitting because his whole path or journey is about going into practices like concentration and meditation. Okay, so your asana should be stable and comfortable, and in which you can sit for a long period of time. Why do you need this stability and this comfort? Is because you will have to sit in this position for a long period of time. Now, for example, if there is no stability in my asana or no comfort, so what will happen is when I go and sit for meditation, suppose I'm not feeling okay, like Sukhasana mein mujhe dard aa raha hai, okay, that is already giving me pain when I'm sitting in a cross-legged position. Or let me go with Padmasana. Okay, Sukhasana almost everyone is able to sit in, but suppose that I choose Padmasana for my meditation practice and I sit in it. So when I am going in the posture and when I come in the posture, then I already know that one of my leg is like maybe off the ground, and because of that I'm already having pain in my knee. So when I go into the asana, I'm already sure that like my starting point is where the pain is already there. Okay, so usme how will I be able to sit for a longer period of time? I won't. After a while, I would naturally want to open up my feet and relax myself. Okay, so he said that it is very important that whatever posture you choose, you should be stable and comfortable in it, because your starting point should be very stable. अगर वो stable नहीं हुआ तो आगे like more like the deeper you go into meditation and all of these things, a lot of things come up. Okay, and they come up on what level? On a bodily level. Like they do come up on a mental level also, but body pe bhi aata hai. So what will happen is your mind has a way of tricking you. It doesn't want to meditate because it understands now this person is trying to control me. Right now I was controlling this person, telling this person, go have that ice cream, go have that junk food, go see that movie. But now this person is trying to get me into control and tell me, no, you go and do this, you go and do this. तो क्या है, जब हम किसी चीज को like we try to बांधने की कोशिश करते हैं, we can say, or at least narrow down the area in which it can function, okay, then what starts happening is there is a conflict inside and that thing starts rebelling. So your mind will start rebelling and that will come up in the form of pain during meditation. तो जब आप बैठते हो तो ये जो पेन है, when you move your leg, that is a reaction that you are giving to that mental thing that has come up. ठीक है? If you keep sitting in that posture, ignore the pain, after a while you will see that pain will dissolve. मतलब till the time that pain is remaining, it's a way of your mind rebelling. ठीक है? So if you start with an uncomfortable pose, you won't be able to overcome these things. So my starting point will be something which I'm comfortable in so that I can face further challenges. पहले ही अपने आप को चैलेंज नहीं करना, नहीं मैं लगा लूंगा आसन, like I'll go into the asan and I'm very strong, okay, so I will stay in that asan no matter how much it hurts. नहीं, इस तरह से नहीं करना, comfortable होना चाहिए. ठीक है? फिर next you come to the pranayam, okay, then you come to, we can say, breath control or expansion. अब breath के use करते हैं. Last time also I think we had a discussion on this breath and pran. Yeah. So pran has two ways of manifesting. Okay, I read about this some more and tried to understand it myself. So breath, so pran can manifest in two forms, one of which is breath. Okay, so तभी प्राणायाम को breath control भी बोलते हैं. That is why sometimes it's used interchangeably also, because breath is the way in which you can at least control that form of pran, and the other form in which it manifests is the vibrations of the thoughts, or I can say the thought जो vibrate कर रहा है. ठीक है? तो pranayam, according to Patanjali ji, what was pranayam? Pranayam is a practice where your inhalation and exhalation ceases to exist. That is what he has called pranayam. Okay, and he has given 4 types of pranayam, okay, in total in his text. One is inhalation, okay, one is exhalation, one is retention, and then the 4th one is Kevali Kumbhak. So I will write down all of these. So Puraka, I think you would have heard this in your pranayam class also, conscious inhalation and exhalation. Yeah. Okay, so these are the 4 pranayams that he has given. ठीक है? So after you have gained stability over your posture, उसके बाद आप क्या करोगे? Breath को, अब क्या है, अपने प्राण को, your I can say vital force, उसको control करने की कोशिश करोगे, so that you are able to direct it. So once you come into pranayam, you see that you are able to direct it, channel it to different places, or at least control it somewhere. ठीक है? प्राण को आप control कर पाते हो. तो वो practice इन्होंने बोली कि ये when you start doing that, this is what pranayam is. And Kevali Kumbhak is a form where your Kumbhak comes very naturally. So it's a, I can say, natural Kumbhak. इससे पहले the 3 steps that are before this, there is some form of effort. Okay, I'm inhaling, there is exhalation, and even for retention, like there is effort over there. ठीक है? But when you come into Kevali Kumbhak, तो अपने आप लग जाता है, that we say ना, अपने आप हो गया. Like sometimes we sit in meditation and we just think that our breath has stopped only, it has ceased to exist only. So that form, when it comes naturally, that is Kevali Kumbhak. Before that, what happens is, inhale कर रहे हो, we are inhaling during meditation, then we think there is a pause and then you exhale also. Yeah, so वो जो कुंभक लगता है वो ऊपर वाला है. ठीक है? That is the 3rd form of कुंभक. But the 4th form of कुंभक is जब वो naturally लग के prolong हो जाता है. ठीक है? Okay, so I'll move to the next one. Any doubts so far? No? Okay, great. So उसके बाद, so till Pratyahar he has talked of these 5 limbs in the second chapter. Okay, so right now we are at the second chapter only. So then he talks of withdrawal of senses. Okay, so Pratyahar directly translates to okay. So now what I will start doing is कि मैं cut off करना शुरू करूँगी. I'll start cutting off from all of my senses, I can say, and take all of those senses, like turn their attention inwards. Right now, all of my senses are engaged in external objects, in material things. मैं क्या करूँगी? What I'll do is I will reverse that process. So when the mind is when the senses are running outside, the mind is like running with them. Okay, the mind is not seeing कहाँ जा रहा हूँ. The mind is going with that sense and it is I can say indulging in the pleasure of that sense. कुछ देखा अच्छा लगा तो मन वहीं लग जाता है. कहते हैं ना that my mind gets engaged when I see something very beautiful or I really like that art, so I really like looking at it. तो क्या है, mind वहीं engage हो जाता है. Mind is getting engaged with the sense. When you go into the step of pratyahar, then how are you getting the senses in control of the mind? By turning them inwards. अब उनका बाहर भागने की जगह नहीं है. They have no way to run outside, so they will go in control of the mind very naturally when you get into this step of pratyahar. ठीक है, तो इनके साथ साथ ही explain the various benefits also that come with each and every limb. Okay, so with yam and niyam I told you a lot of siddhis start coming in then also if you're able to follow the yamas and niyamas properly. उस टाइम पर भी काफी you are able to achieve a lot of things without going into the further steps. For Asan, he has said that all the duality cease to exist. Okay, so when I am going into asana and it becomes effortless, so मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. It won't affect me if there is heat or cold. So suppose you are sitting in a meditation hall, very big meditation hall, no AC, and peak of summers. So your mind will not be impacted by that. Okay, your body and mind will not get impacted by that thing. The change of weather, the change of other things, like if there is, suppose I'll take a very general example, suppose there is a change in something in your day-to-day life and you're not a change kind of person, so it disturbs you. But as you move ahead in your yogic practice and you attain stability in asana, you will see that that duality is also fading away. Now you're not getting that disturbed by those same things. So ये आसन की practice से आता है. This comes with the practice of asana as per Patanjali ji. The duality ceases to exist and you are able to stay one pointed or focused, I can say. फिर प्राणायाम की practice से क्या होता है? Let me tell you. प्राणायाम के लिए भी उन्होंने बोला है. Pranayam leads to pratyahar. Yeah, that is what he said. Pranayam will help you, will take you to that point where you can start going inward. For pratyahar, he said that you gain mastery over your senses. Yes, he said that once you go into the practice of pratyahar, you gain mastery over all of your senses. Okay, so एक एक करके उन्होंने एक एक चीज का he told us the benefit. And the second, I think one more benefit he has given. Okay, so for pranayam, he has also given one more benefit. There is this sense of ignorance that we have, yeah, and with the practice of pranayam, that veil, I can say, जैसे पर्दा डाल देते हैं ना, there is a curtain and you are not able to see something else. So that curtain is lifted and now you are able to at least gain access of those things, like I can say the knowledge. Now you're able to see that knowledge somewhere, start seeing that knowledge. Okay, तो ये दोनों चीजें होते हैं. Become prepared for pratyahar and the psychic I can say psychic centers are activated. That is how you put it. Yeah. And covering of knowledge is removed. Okay. So after these first 5 steps, you go into Antarang Yoga. Okay. So सबसे पहला step क्या होता है वहां जाते? You go into धारणा और concentration. Right now what was happening was the mind was running outside. There were hundreds of directions where it was running in. Now धीरे धीरे करके we gained control over it. We tried to withdraw from it. Once the withdrawal happens, so where are you going to direct all of that energy? Inward. Yeah. So when you direct it inward, you choose one object. Okay, any one object according to the meditation practice that you are adopting. जो वो ऑब्जेक्ट बोलेंगे, ठीक है, and you try to concentrate on that. Okay, so you do not directly go into dhyan. Okay, so the first step to go into dhyan is dharana. Now my teacher told me, my meditation teacher told me that go focus on your breath. Okay, and now I sit. Okay, I have taken care of all the things. I'm sitting in a posture that is very comfortable. All the things that were said, I have taken care of all of them. Okay, and then when I sit still, I see that when I'm focusing on my breath, I close my eyes, focus on my breath, my mind runs away. So, and then I get it back, then it runs away, then I get it back, then it runs away. Initially, this is a process that goes on. Yeah. This thing that is happening, this is dharana or concentration. When your mind is running away, because right now the tendency of the mind is to run away. Yeah. Okay. फिर क्या होगा धीरे धीरे करके so monotonous, but you are like, okay, I've taken this resolution that today so I'm going to go into meditation. I'm going to experience this. So you keep sitting, you see your mind runs away, then comes back to the breath, runs away, comes back to the breath. Then what happens is at one point of time, this coming back to the breath becomes effortless. Okay. पहले आप effort डाल रहे थे. Earlier you were putting in efforts. Now the efforts are suspended and you're naturally with your breath. Okay. And that state is called dhyan or meditation. Okay, so a very good analogy to understand both these things is that suppose that water is falling. Okay, Omkarji, yeah.
So in this dharana concentration, right? We can choose an external object as well and internal object as well. Like internal, we are concentrating on breath, but external we can as per I remember this some examples of Mombatti also. Like you can concentrate on the Mombatti, like light, some small light. So which is the best, like choosing internal object or external object? Like external means not like complete open surrounding, but maybe a closed room and a Mombatti, something like that. Or just to start with, if you're starting with Pratyahara.
So for dharana, like you can choose an
Sorry,
external.
dharana.
Yeah. So for dharana, you can choose an external object, like you're talking of the practice of Tratak. So Tratak also has 2 types, external and internal. So in external, you keep a diya filled with ghee and you light that diya and you focus on that. So वो आपका external हो गया. But eventually what happens is once you are like one pointed focus is there in Tratak. So once you're looking at that diya for a prolonged period of time and then you close your eyes, that same image will come in front of your mind's eye. So वही external Tratak, that external Tratak becomes internal Tratak. So eventually you go to that. ऐसे भी कर सकते हो.
Yeah, because actually, like some months back when some teacher told me to concentrate on looking the diya inside, so and the heart chakra directly. So I think that was quite difficult. So I think this when we see it as external object and then internal, maybe that's a good method actually.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a good method.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Dharana and Dhyan. So to understand Dharana and Dhyan, very common example that is used is that suppose one place water is flowing down, okay, and one place like simultaneously oil is pouring down, okay. So these two processes are happening, and then a gush of wind comes in, okay. So what happens is the water will be moved by the wind, but the oil won't. The oil will still keep going. जैसे कहते हैं ना धार में जा रहा है. It will still flow smoothly despite the wind coming in. Okay, so that wind is actually the thoughts or everything and anything that wants to take you outside.
Can you give example again? Sorry, I just missed it.
Okay. So basically, one place, I can say water is pouring down. Okay, and simultaneously at the other place, oil is pouring down. Okay, I have two bottles and I'm pouring down water and oil. So when a gush of wind comes in, so the water will be disturbed, it will be moved, but the oil won't be. It will still flow smoothly. The flow of the water will be disturbed when a gush of wind will come in. Okay, so the water is your dharna, okay, and the oil, flowing of the oil is dhyan, okay, and that gush of wind is anything and everything which will try to take you outside, or which will I can say the thoughts, all the thoughts that come in, you constantly have to come back to your object, okay. So it is moved by the anything that is trying to disturb you, but meditation is not moved. So after a while, when you are sitting, coming back to the breath with so much effort, you are telling your mind, no, no, come back, you come back over here, you have to stay over here. After a point, you experience that all of that effort is now suspended, and you are naturally in that state where you are with your breath and with your present, and nothing else is there. Yeah, for you, it's only the breath and you in dhyan, okay. And after dhyan, so all these three are also very strongly interconnected: dharana, dhyan, samadhi. They happen simultaneously. So you will not, sometimes you will not even understand when you jump from one to the other to the other, okay. Then the last step of samadhi comes in, or I can say absorption, okay. So once you're sitting in dhyan, अब मेरा ध्यान लग गया, I can say okay, now I'm in my practice of meditation, check, okay. Then naturally what will happen is that sense of I will also go away. अभी क्या था? I sense, okay, process and object. Then in the second stage in dhyan, what happened was the process was eliminated, my effort was eliminated. Now there is I and the object. In samadhi, you will be absorbed so much in the object that even your own existence will, like, that will cease, and you will purely be absorbed in the object, okay. And once that object is also out, that is the stage of kevalya, okay. But in samadhi, what happens is you come back from samadhi till particular stages, you come back from samadhi. So you'll go in dharana dhyan samadhi, then come back, then dharana dhyan samadhi, then come back, okay. So this also happens. So when only the object is there and I'm completely absorbed in that object, okay, ab sirf breath hai, my meditation goes so deep that I even forget that there is an I, there is a body, there is something that is sitting and observing the object, okay. That point also comes, it when you are continuously practicing, that stage is your samadhi, okay. And all three of them, when they happen simultaneously, they are called sanyam or samyam. Samyam, I can say, it's equal to okay. So when all these three processes will take place together, then this is the state which is achieved. And he gave this state the name Siam because he wanted to explain how to tap siddhis. Okay. So when you do this dharana dhyan samadhi on a particular object or on a particular thing, so then you achieve the siddhi of that thing. Okay, if I'm able to practice all three of them on one object, तो जो योगी को मिलता है उसको सिद्धि बोलते हैं उस टाइम पर. ठीक है, so that is why he categorized all three of them together. And like, so when you read the Yoga Sutras, you will find that there are different objects, or I can say places of focus that are given, and according to each place a particular siddhi has been talked of. तो वो हमारे कोर्स में नहीं है, yeah, but to understand this, like this whole process is in our course. Yeah, doubts. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first doubt is like we hear a lot of like this is higher level. I just wanted to know. Okay. Like a lot of people go into samadhi for 20-25 days and something like that, right? So in that time they are not eating anything and something like that, right? So if you go by laws of nature that this body is created, so it will need a food. Okay, you have to give it by something like we say that in pranayama also, like this body needs water. So in some pranayama practice we can just breathe the cool breath, so the water is get replaced. But in samadhi your state come that we are not only like breathing as well, or something like that. Or actually even if we say water part we exclude, we are not eating anything at all 25 days. So how it's go, like how this is going hand in hand with laws of nature, that if a body is created, it will need food for survival. So how this law is taken care in this time?
See, like breath, like I told you, you can be without breath, but you can't be without like pran. तो ऐसा ही कुछ इसमें है कि that food, yes, you're not violating the law of nature when you're not having food. People fast for a lot of days and they are totally fine with it. Like fasting too has always been.
Yeah, but 19 days, we can say 19 days can be considered, we can say a normal thing, right? But if someone is going in 2-3 months for samadhi, example, we are taking, and he's not eating anything. So I just wanted to know how that's, because like you said in the last lecture also, right? In Bhagavad Gita also, the God has a choice to means come and stop this war, but he will not do that because that is not against law. The nature has been created in such laws that it has to follow it. Like even the big small, like a lot of gurus and swami, if they want to make a progress of their disciples, sometimes they take their you can say wrong things inside their body, and then they get the disease and everything. So everything has to be absorbed somewhere. It can't go like this. So even if so sadhu is there, swami is there, they are going into samadhi, their body needs to work according to the law of nature. So I just wanted to understand how does that been taken care during samadhi.
करती है ना law of nature के हिसाब से काम. When the body becomes very lean, people who go on extreme tap, you would have seen, like even when Buddha went into extreme tap, like there was a point where he and his friends went for in the 5 friends went in the forest, and once he realized how much his body was suffering, that is why he left that. He didn't go with that, he went with the middle path. Generally Buddha's path is called middle path ना, तो उनकी भी बॉडी आपकी लॉ ऑफ नेचर नहीं वो हो रहा है इसमें. I can say the law of nature is not being broken.
So we can say that the science says that at least 19 days we need a food. So that is kind of wrong assumption, we can say, that our body can sustain for a long time, but because science is looking from one perspective, because our desires and everything, we are saying that 19 days is wrong. But for yogi is getting other things are satisfied, just food is being taken not care, so that can be elongated, like the period can be elongated. Yes. as such.
I don't know. I didn't know that science says 19 days. Okay. And I mean, like, I don't think any nature is being violated over here. One thing. Second of all, like, you're saying ki, can you go again, please? Sorry. I'm so
I'm saying
sorry.
that I just wanted to know that how the other things are being taken care, right? We like everything is kind of science and logical here in Indian philosophy, right? So if one law is there, then most like the law, like you once said, God also can't change it. It has to be compensated anything anyway. Like if your yogi's body is there, till he is alive, he has to take care of his body.
Mm.
Okay. So I just wanted to know when they are going into samadhi, there is no sense of body for them. That is right, but body is still there in nature. So how that body is being taken care
It's
without
not.
food?
So they're not consuming food. So
Hmm.
their body does lose a lot of, like you would see, they're very slim. बहुत ज्यादा बॉडी एकदम ही वो हो जाती है लाइक ये तो आई थिंक किसी मूवी की स्टोरी भी थी दैट ही लेफ्ट हिज बॉडी लाइक फॉर अ व्हाइल एंड देन व्हेन ही केम बैक हिज बॉडी वाज लाइक ठीक स्टेट में नहीं थी. मसल वगैरह तो लूज होगा आपका क्योंकि आप खाना नहीं खा रहे एंड यू आर बाउंड बाय द बॉडी राइट आई मीन लाइक एंड नेचर दैट यू आर करेक्ट बट यू आर नॉट वायलेटिंग द लॉ.
So if someone doesn't come don't come after some time in samadhi, then the body will die. Like suppose, but that point don't come because he will get intuition that you need food.
I don't know about this. I'm sorry. I cannot answer this one.
Yeah, means ultimately when he's going into samadhi, the like even if someone is has spiritual path, the intuition works, right? So in case of samadhi, there will be intuitions, right? So maybe if after some time he will get intuition that your body needs something, just eat and then again come in samadhi, something like that. So okay, I'm just like of course these are like high level things. I just wanted to get a picture about this.
ये इसको तो मैं नहीं कह सकती.
ठीक है.
Like intuition and everything. I have not been there, but
Yeah.
law of nature नहीं take हो रहा. ये this is for sure.
Thank you.
Any other doubts? Yeah.
I have one more doubt.
Mm-hmm.
The siddhis, right? So the swamis and great sadhus get this siddhis, right? So we can see that you get siddhi, you have to work hard, like you have to be on a good path to get the siddhis, right? You have to follow the niyama, all the good things, not lie, not stealing, everything. So when we go into the other aspect like occult, or when we go into previous yugs, that time Ravan also got siddhis and other people also got siddhis, like which you don't have like which people they were not having a good intention. Then also they got the siddhis. And like in modern times also people do occult with wrong intention, then also they get siddhis. So how this works? Because when we see this path, it's all good path. Without following good things, you will not reach to dharana, dhyan, samadhi. So how can you get a siddhis without a wrong with wrong intention?
So you will get siddhi because you're following the path. Okay. That is why Yam and Niyam, he placed Yam and Niyam first.
Yeah,
When you reach that point,
wrong intention means niyam is not followed, right?
why carry on, man? That is what I'm telling you. That is why he placed Yam and Niyam first. But if you practice other steps and you will, like, if you practice other steps, you will reach the point of Siddhi. Okay, you will attain the Siddhi. और अगर
With
आपका
wrong
यम
intention
नियम
as well.
क्योंकि आप प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हो ना, उसका इंटेंशन से कोई लेना देना नहीं. समझ रहे हो इस चीज को? लाइक इफ आई एम लाइक डूइंग समथिंग, लाइक इफ आई एम मेडिटेटिंग, तो अब मेडिटेशन को कोई लेना देना नहीं है मेरी इंटेंशन क्या. इफ आई एम एबल टू कॉन्सेंट्रेट, इफ माय माइंड, आई एम एबल टू कंट्रोल माय माइंड, दैट्स द होल गेम. So if I'm able to do that, I will attain that because it comes on the path only. That is why it's very important कि आप यम नियम में establish होकर आगे बढ़ो. Because
But
when you get
when someone has the wrong intention, how he is able to concentrate on meditation?
see, your intention matters. I'm not questioning that, but you can attain siddhi irrespective of that. And for Ravan, his ego came in between. He was a very big devotee of Shiva. मतलब when we see Ramayan, उनको काफी उस picture में दिखाया, but he was a very faithful and very like, so that's the whole thing. It's like we can understand this as like not everything is black and white. There is this space in between which is called gray. Yeah, this color called gray. तो वहां पे भी रहकर अगर if you put in the effort, you will get siddhi. But then it's up to you how you are like using it. ऐसा नहीं है कि क्योंकि दोनों का प्रोसेस अलग है. Intention setting is different. Okay, maybe with a good intention you will be able to get to the result more quickly, or it will be easier for you. But it doesn't mean कि if somebody doesn't have like a good intention in heart, then they won't attain siddhi. वहां पे संयम करो, practice संयम over that object, and you will get siddhi.
Okay, thank you.
सेम क्वेश्चन है मेरा, थोड़ा रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन है। जैसे यम नियम सब कुछ पालन करके हम लोग समाधि तक पहुंच सकते हैं, तो इसमें सपोज आपको कोई भी एक लिम्ब में आपका मन कम लगता हो, जैसे कि आसन आपको कम मतलब रिलेट कर पाते हो, तो उसको आप थोड़ा मॉडरेट करके दूसरे लिम्ब में ज्यादा ध्यान लगा के भी आप चल सकते हैं, है ना?
So that is why this also came up, जो सिद्धि वाली बात है कि sometimes what happens is because yam and niyam require a lot of mental strength. Okay, so we leave those behind, like especially Hatha Yoga when we were talking about it, they leave those behind. तो क्या होता है कि higher stages में you are not able to like there is a reason why he put all of this in order, and like so ये वाली चीज हो जाती है कि हाँ एक जगह पे आपका उतना ज्यादा फोकस नहीं लग रहा, दैट डजंट मीन यू शुड स्टॉप डूइंग द अदर थिंग, बट you will see that eventually all of these things, when you reach higher stages, all of them hold their own relevance. And for him asan, this asan ka example le lo, so for him asan is a comfortable way of sitting. Yeah, so you don't have to do शीर्षासन, handstand, all of these things. बस इतना कर लो. उन्होंने मिनिमम बार ही सेट करा है, उन्होंने नहीं बोला भस्त्रिका करो, भ्रामरी करो. He hasn't given all of those practices. He's just like, this is what you have to do in pranayama.
अपने हिसाब से सेट कर सकते हैं, है ना?
हाँ, कर सकते हो, मॉडरेट कर सकते हो, पर it will be better if you first finish that step and then move to the other.
Thank you.
Any other doubts? No? Oh, chalo. So we'll end the class. Back and neck straight. Close your eyes. Allow yourself to absorb this information. And now take one deep breath. Inhale deeply. And exhale deeply. We'll chant Om one time, followed by 3 Shantis. Inhale deeply for Om. Om. Shanti. Join both the palms together. And now rub both the palms. Place them over your eyes. And slowly, while blinking and looking at your palms, just open up your eyes and namaste to everyone. I will see all of you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.